Hey guys, what's up? Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it.
Please like, subscribe, share with your mates, and enjoy the episode.
Hey guys, what's up? Another episode of The Flip Side. Excited as always. I find these it's like a good way to talk. I find myself enjoying to talk. I have a list of these topics. Every time I'm watching something Christian or something pops in my mind, I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this with Christian. Write it down. And it's something to talk about. I don't know, it's like a cool therapy session each week. It's fun.
I'm your registered therapist. Look at that. I'll just change my profession. Just become a registered therapist. I don't mind it though at all. You're right. It's a nice way to just let off steam and just kick back, and just talk it out like two people who have gone through shit during the week. Not that I have, but today is the 8th of June. Half of the year. We've gone through half of the year pretty much. Well, we're into the 6th month of the year. 2021's gone just like that. A lot of expectations on 2021 after a shock of 2020, but yeah, half the year's gone. I don't really feel like I've done much other than just working, and I just finished uni today, so that's all finished, but yeah.
You had a ton of wins this year. This has been a solid week for you. It's been I remember 2020 and even on the episodes of these podcasts, dude, it was just it was a write-off. You're what a write-off. I remember it. But this year has been pretty good. Things are looking pretty good, Christian.
That's true. It has been a year full of big wins, not going to lie, compared to last year was just rough, but you got to make the most of it. You got to make the most of whatever comes through your way anyway. So 6 months in, how would you evaluate your half-yearly performance in 2021 so far? Are you managing expectations, aligning to expectations, or talk to me?
I think this half year, it's felt like it's just been all preparation. I've been feeling for that massive win or that consistent win or that final breakthrough. But it's coming. I can feel it coming. It's been a lot of preparation. I think preparation not for the business, but for myself, mentally as well, and habit-wise. I'm starting to finally figure out what I can do when I'm not motivated, how to be more consistent, what I can do, how far I can push myself, how less I can push myself where I just end up procrastinating all week. So it's just been all training. I feel I feel like I'm in the time chamber, and I've just been at this. I have been posting a bit on social media. I've been consistent on that again, but that's just reposting stuff from ages ago. I'm going to post the new watch soon, so I'm going to do that review. That's going to go on IG. But it might look like I'm winning right now, but over the last few months it's been slow. It's been a lot of preparation.
You're in the training arc of your story. You're in the training arc of your story. You're slowly building up preparation. You're getting ready, and then you're ready to unleash surely soon. I mean, send that IG post of the new watch, of the new Rolly. I think we talked about it last week that you got the Rolly. There's no point selling it. I think we've talked about that. But yeah, dude, you're talking about preparing yourself, pushing yourself. Buddy, I got a text at 3 a.m. What's going on there? You texted me at 3 a.m. in the morning. Are you working that late, or what's with the before you used to be oh yeah, I'm motivated. I get sleep is so important. I'm gonna do this, and I got a text at 3 a.m. I'm like, what the is what's going on?
I know, I don't know, recently
everyone has those days where they just just have a late day where you just up late and you just don't know why. I get it, but it's uncharacteristic. That's all.
Yeah, I've had I think a week or two ago, I finished Walking Dead, binge watched that unhealthily. There was so many late nights, crushed 3 seasons in a week. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to start anything else because I know what happens when I start. I can't stop. So let's quit and not watch any more TV shows. One day, finished the day early. I was like, I want to get some motivation. Let's watch some Suits. Let's get some freaking corporate, savage, cool lawyer action going on. Watch one episode, turned into 2 episodes, turned into 1 whole season, turned into 2 seasons, and over the last week, churned through 3 freaking seasons. It's so bad.
Of Suits.
Yeah.
How did you do? Actually, wait, the first 3 seasons weren't actually that bad of Suits. It gets bad like later on. Like for me personally, I just didn't.
That's the bad thing. It got boring when I quit around season 6, and that's when I got back into it. Binge season 6 to 8. Wow.
So you're up to date now?
Not yet. I think I've got 1 or 2 more seasons to go. I had a good time. It was really fun watching through it. It's just so hard to stop. Like the cliffhangers nowadays, it's so good. TV have cracked cliffhangers, and these are 40-minute episodes, so it's 40-minute cliffhangers.
I think TV's the future. You're 100% right. I think they've cracked everything. They've cracked the formula and like sustainability in the sense. Sorry, longevity in the sense that they know exactly how to develop character storylines and develop storylines over seasons, and it gives it a lot more depth as opposed to watching a 1.5 hour movie where you feel like everything's crammed in, you know what I mean? So like TV's cracked it. It's honestly cracked. Like the money that's being thrown into Netflix nowadays is insane. So many Netflix originals you don't even know of.
Yeah, I think they got a formula. Like TV has a freaking formula, and it's crazy how like last season or 2 seconds off, they start freaking teasing and setting up the next side series, like the Pearson series. How the woman, she's going to have her own TV show, and I think she already has actually. But it's insane how they tee it up, and it's a freaking formula that they churn through, and they've buttered down this formula. It's insane, yeah.
Yeah, they churn through it, then it can become quite repetitive because you got a lot of like, you know, spin-offs and everything, and it can kind of get like, okay, like can't be bothered, you know, but some of the spin-offs are very successful. But yeah, they're 100% cracked it. Like all the major like HBO, CW, I think CW's in part, I don't know, but HBO, you got Disney Plus, you got so many of them. They're like all releasing their own after you seeing like how good Netflix are doing and stuff. Like all originals want to be on Netflix, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's interesting like how you went and binged. Like at the moment I binged when up during work, so it's like it's not too bad for me. I can't sit down and binge after work because I've just consumed so much TV during work that I'm just like, I don't feel like watching it, so I'll like force myself to do something else, like read a fiction book or whatever, and then go on from there, eh?
Damn, that's pretty good. What type of books have you been reading, Krishn?
Oh, no, I've just been like, because
Manga?
No. I was reading Lord of the Rings because I was reading it in primary school and I really enjoyed it. And so I bought the set again recently. And I've just been trying to read it. And it's like, have you read Lord of the Rings before?
I haven't read the books. Yeah, I read The Hobbit. I remember reading The Hobbit when I was younger.
Good stuff, yeah. So, you know, like, I enjoy, obviously, that style of books, etc., right? But
the lore.
Yeah, the lore and everything. I grew up with it, but it's also, like, it's interesting because the style of writing, it's so old that it's not, people nowadays wouldn't be able to read it and stuff because it's, like, just completely so old. But, yeah, I love it. I love Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I like reading that sort of, like, fantasy stuff. I don't know. It's just interesting.
I've been recently reading this book called The Black Swan. Starting to get back into reading. That's also a routine that I dropped off and it's bad. But now I'm back into it and I'm enjoying reading every day. And it's crazy. It's like this book where it's talking about how people usually focus on trends and what happened in the past. Like every 8 years there's a recession, and then they sort of look at models and they predict based on past data. They can create models of the future. But what he does, I forgot the name of the author, his profession is predicting things to go wrong. And like I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. He tries to look for black swan events, look for things that can go wrong, and sort of bet on things going wrong. And that's a really interesting concept. And then I was like, wow, like what if I just always thought about the worst case scenario and sort of planned for preventions on them?
Do you know what that's called?
Yeah, what is it called?
Contingencies.
Yeah. Damn, yeah.
Like, it makes sense. Everyone needs a contingency in, like, well, I don't have any contingencies because I don't technically need one in that sense. But, yeah, like, there's people usually plan for they have a contingency plan. Like if everything just goes completely AWOL, no one knows what's going on. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah,
And that's something I never thought about, because I would always just like, I know if there's contingency, but like he would like predict like for like a freaking, I don't know, it's I haven't read through the book, but it's like pretty interesting how Black Swans, things gone wrong, that's something that people don't dwell on. But the successful people dwell on contingencies, or they dwell on things gone wrong, and they really predict on how they can capitalize on it, which is pretty interesting.
it's interesting because like, who would have ever predicted COVID at all? In the sense that that's like the most recent Black Swan event. At the moment, we're seeing crypto going through a well, I don't know if it's a Black Swan. It seems like market correction. Quick little crypto update. We'll check the prices right now. I checked this morning and it wasn't good.
A few days ago it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good a few days ago. It was like 39 and I was like, oh, we might see 60 again. No, you were wrong, boy.
Yeah.
Dropped down to 33. It was 32 earlier today, and then now it's 33. It's just cruising there. I don't want to look at it for a long time, but yeah, like crypto aside, obviously Black Swan are events that happen like once every X amount of years. They're very uncommon, etc. So like, imagine if that guy predicted COVID or like saw COVID happening. I don't think anyone would have, but in terms of like a massive, like large scale pandemic like this, like do you think a zombie apocalypse would happen? Because that's the next thing that I can possibly think of. You know what I mean? Like pandemic is so close to like all our fears of like a massive virus taking over. It's not so far away from like a zombie apocalypse. I don't believe it, but like, you know what I mean? Like those are the sort of Black Swan events that.
Well, what he said in the book is Black Swan events are becoming less and less often, but they're becoming more and more impactful. And that's interesting. That's true. Like there's less and less crazy shit happening, but when a crazy shit does happen, it's bigger than the last thing. And that's, pretty scary to think about.
Yeah, especially because it hits the roof, you know what I mean? Like it goes through the roof, sorry, like with COVID, like what the... When is like what the last Black Swan would have been, what, the GFC? And that's about it since then. Even then, like that was like directly correlated with financial market. This was like actually a health implication issue. And you think that we've come so far with the health, science and everything, that this still had the potential to happen. It still had the potential to like go all across the world. But yeah, it is few and far between. But when they come, I don't know what the next one will be. It's interesting because your business is able to be streamlined through these Black Swan events. It doesn't really matter as long as it's internet, unless somehow the internet dies or like someone blows up the internet. I don't know.
Another thing I've been doing is usually when I finish the day early, I would like hit up a bunch of friends, be like, hey, anyone free? Let's like kick it. Have like a fire night or something. And then I realized, like, when reading that book, I was like, holy shit, I should take every night I have for myself when I can, because there's a good chance that a Black Swan thing might happen. Not a Black Swan event, or like literally like this is what happened. So I finished the night early, hit up some friends, kicked it with friends, did the same the next day. The next day, finished early, binged a bunch of TV, slept late. So these are 4 nights in a row where I just didn't have much sleep. And I was like, all right, tomorrow, nothing planned. I'm going to get a good night's rest. That day, friend calls up. Shit's gone down. He wants to talk, spend the night with him. And, I listen to him. And then now I'm like 5 days in, mentally drained as well, because I met so many different people. And I just crash. And I was like, holy shit, like I should really, like if I have a day to myself, I should really take it, because who knows if the next few days just Black Swan shit happen, people hit me up. And that's usually what happens. It's strange, yeah.
You're stretching yourself out too thin. You got to leave some time for yourself. Otherwise you're just going to be flat out. Look at you go. You went from like, barely like, like always having the nice to yourself to like being full on, but it's good, it's good. Keep yourself busy. Don't think of it like you do need time for yourself, but like You're going to drain yourself. You're going to stress yourself out so thin, you know what I mean? But it's important that you take care of yourself. Don't sleep with 3 chefs.
Talking about that, I've noticed I've gone through like these like swivels, like where recently I've been in that trend of just hitting up everyone, trying to network, meet people, link up with people, and it's this crazy spiral where you link with this person, you're like, holy shit, okay, if I was able to link with him, maybe I should try to reach out to this person, reach this person. Eventually you hit this bar where you're just hitting all these people and just getting no replies and or a bunch of rejection, and you're like, okay, that's my level, like I can't touch the people up here yet. And I've sort of hit that ceiling, and it's like time for me I'm exhausted and tired, I'm not productive, I'm seeing that, okay, networking is cool and all, but there isn't really any real ROI. Like I do learn a bit here and there, but it's not really worth, sacrificing that day. It's time for me to go back in my shell and not see anyone for the next 2 months. I'm ready to not see anyone because I've met a lot of people. I talked a lot, freaking had the birthday party, everything. Like I'm done with people, Krishn. And that's usually what happens. I go through that phase, and then eventually after 2-3 months of not seeing anyone, I'm like, I want to start seeing people, and I start hitting people up again. And then it's like this back and forth pendulum.
I'm literally the same. I can go like a whole month without seeing people, and then like I'll just feel like in a social mood. I'll hit up or like heaps of people, we'll go out, and then like for a whole month I'm fully booked out. Then after a while, you just collapse. Like what's that thing you see? Like when your social timer clocks out, and then you just like feel like you really just want to stay alone at home in your bed. So at the moment I'm like in a decent middle space because the last time I went out with you was your birthday, so I haven't seen a lot of my other friends in a while, so I was like in the same sort of a bubble. But yeah, like get to a point where you're just like, god damn it. But these people that you network with, some of them say you're not your friends. Do you ever like think about how you can like essentially monetize it in the sense that like implement what they've taught you into, because it's like networking, but like what do you take away from it in the sense that like to look to implement to your life, or like is that something that goes through your head afterwards when you sit down and run it through your head again, or like what?
I think the main ROIs are one, just being able to be with someone that is doing better than you and being like, oh wow, okay, this is potential. I'm seeing someone that's doing better than me. Like this is real, this is possible. So it really elevates what you think is possible. 2, you definitely learn little things that you can implement to your own business, and sometimes you do get a bit of a light bulb moment. 3, it's just really fun. I think those are the main pros. The con is sucks up your energy, sucks up your time. Sometimes you don't leave with anything new, and it was just like a menial catch up. So that's the con.
It sounds like it's like a few weeks ago you didn't gain anything from it. Hey? It's like I get it. Like sometimes you don't gain anything from it, but like at the end of the day, when you're always hanging out with people that are better than you, or like not even that, just like doing something different, doing something at an accelerated pace, or like 5 steps ahead of where you want to be, it's easy to like. But then I guess when you meet up with them, you'd be catching up with them on like a friendship basis, on like when the guards are down, like it's all like chill, relax, as opposed to seeing them like, I'm sure if some people saw you operating at your highest level of like hard work, etc., it'd be like, okay, shit, this is not normal. I mean, that makes sense. No one wants to hang out with someone when they're working hard, but it's hard for me, thinking from the outside, it's hard for me to like gather that, or like, like see what the ROI is and that. But like, yeah, I get what you mean. It's one of those things that you just meet people and then you see where you go from there.
I agree. We were talking about last week, conspiracy theories. I guess we can take turns reading each one here. Let me forward this one to... I can't tell if these are conspiracy theories or just documentaries or just like real things. But okay, the first one. Electric car conspiracy. The technology has been perfected and available since the 90s, but it's kept hidden due to the influence/agreements between car manufacturers and big oil companies themselves. So apparently electric cars have been invented since the 90s.
Nah, surely not. There's absolutely no way. There is absolutely no way electric cars are available in the 90s. Okay, when you think of 90s, what do you think of?
I think of like freaking old telephones with the string and then turning. I think of like old buildings, people in freaking tall hats. No, that's too far back. Like old Wall Street people. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I think of the 90s, you think about the mobile phone that you had, or the mobile phone your parents had, sorry. It was the classic Nokia 9310, or what do you call it? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Say less, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Nokia 9310. It was like a mini brick in your hand. The best thing about it is you could play Snake. You could, my point of view is there is absolutely no way that electric cars were available in the 90s.
Remember that house game where we'll be moving side to side, and you click, drop, and then it'll drop? And then there'll be another row and you're building this tall building, that game?
Tetris.
Oh, no, it was like this tower building game. And there'll be like a column swinging side by side, and you click X and it will drop, and you try to stack it as high as possible. And the building, if it crashes, then it loses.
Yeah.
Maybe I think that wasn't too old school Nokia. Actually, that was like sort of a bit newer Nokia, but back to what you're saying.
Yeah, it was a bit newer, but what I'm saying is the technology at that time, just based on everything else that was around, was so limited in the sense that, we've had a huge jump just in the last 10 to 15 years. Everyone knows it. It's just clear and plain to see that in the last 10 to 15 years, technological advancements have just been large scale. But then again, we're also just saying it from this point of view because we can see everything around us, as opposed to, say, the Industrial Revolution happened when the cars actually started. That was probably huge for them, right? But what I'm saying is in the 90s, there is no way. There is absolute, because you saw the cars that they had available at the time was like the Toyota Corolla, a really old Corolla. I don't know if you ever saw my old car, the Toyota Corolla. It was like a silver 2001 Toyota Corolla. It was old, right? There's just no way. I personally think there's just no way. If you honestly have some belief towards that, try and spin me in that direction. I'm just like, there's absolutely no way.
Let me share my screen. Okay, dude. So apparently this General Motors EV1. This is an electric car. Wow. In the 1990s. Whoa. What the hell? Is this real? What the hell?
How? There's no way.
Where's the battery? This looks like an actual car though. It doesn't look like a Tesla battery.
Yeah.
Huh. So
There's no way.
What I was going to say is if Elon Musk is currently struggling to make electric cars even better and drive longer range, and it was nearly impossible for him to even just build what is currently Tesla, that means the technology doesn't exist. If there is hidden technology, he would know. But then again, whoa, this is interesting. What the hell is this?
It's it plays into a lot of the stuff that you see and hear about governments having access to technology, well before us, and wow, okay, what is that? History of the modern electric car. EV is the first one. Look, it probably would have been electric, but it would have been one of...
Yeah, one of one.
Yeah, one of one. And to charge it up, it might have taken 3 weeks or something. It would have been extremely primitive technology, but even then it's kind of just I don't know if they would have had the capabilities even for... Wait, there's no way. Look at that. There's no way. That is definitely cap. There's no way. That is absolutely...
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I think yes, I do agree that oil companies maybe try to freaking shut down these EV companies, but I think it feels like we're struggling to build electric cars right now. Not struggling, but it's pretty hard to build an electric car right now, and I think if the oil companies didn't ban and try to buy out all these companies, maybe there would have been faster innovation. But I don't think it's some crazy conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I don't think it's a conspiracy theory in the sense that it's meant to be wild, these conspiracies, right? But yeah, I think it was just incredibly primitive technology at the time. But what's it saying? It's saying here that it's just always been available but kept under the wraps between car manufacturers. There's no way people believe this. I personally believe there's just absolutely no way. But the next one, the hollow Earth theory. Ancient astronaut theorists suggest deep within our own planet could be another Earth. Discovery of large bodies of water deep into the Earth further supports the claim. Also believed a more advanced civilization flourishes there. The entrance to the inner world / Earth is a South Pole and a North Pole. And it's depicted in this recent movie, Godzilla vs. King Kong. I was generally a little bit interested in this because this is a little bit of a different one. You know what? I have to agree.
What the hell? This is crazy.
I have to agree because, not agree in the sense that agree everything, but what's in the ocean, bro? What's in the ocean? Tell me what's in the ocean.
Water. Dirt.
There's some whack shit in the ocean that you don't know about. No one knows about. What's the percentage or something that hasn't been explored of the ocean? Like what, 80% or something of the ocean has been explored? Because we physically can't go that low into the ocean. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah, I heard like there's so many species that we have no idea what is.
Yeah, more than 80% of the ocean is unmapped, unobserved, and unexplored. Is that not the most ridiculous stat? Like deep down there in the oceans, there could be some whack shit just sleeping and just lying and curling there. Because you can see, like if you go on Google and you just type in like deep sea creature, like deep sea creatures, like you just see some weird shit. And there's like been deep sea creatures that have
what the hell?
Yeah, there's been some weird ones that have just washed up to shore.
Do you remember this from like NatPlan or something, or year like?
Yeah. What was it? It's in my head now. It was in something.
It was like one of the like year 10
I
like.
guess?
Yes. It was like the New South Wales wide thing, and this was one of the English essays or something.
UNSW ICAS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy crap! These are creepy creatures. But you're right. Actually, I cut you out there. What were you gonna say?
No. Continue. I'll finish.
I was just gonna say that like, it's insane how like we've put in so much effort to like travel to the moon and Mars, but no one's really given a fuck what's like underneath the ocean, and we just haven't invested any technology because like people don't think it's like financially smart or it won't make any money. But like literally you're right, there's so much shit under us that is underexplored. Now I was gonna say, is it like Australia isn't like an island, we're not floating, right? Like if we dig, we go to the core, right? Imagine if there's like a freaking like aliens living in the Marina Trench that one day might like freaking get smart enough to like travel to the surface.
There's been a lot of movies about that, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen, like, not a lot, but like there's a few, like so many of them, like Journey to the Center of the Earth, like old ones, right? But like, yeah, you're 100% right. We're investing so much money to explore what's physically, essentially outside of the atmosphere, right? As opposed to exploring deep sea, like what's deep in our seas, you know what I mean? Like, damn, like I'm just thinking I might watch a documentary after this as to like, you know, like some YouTube videos on like deep sea exploration and stuff just to see, because that shit freaks me out. I know a lot of people as well. It's like, what's the top 10 fears? Ocean. Imagine being stuck in the middle of an ocean. I'd want to kill myself as fast as possible.
Dude,
I wouldn't want to survive being stranded in the middle of an ocean.
I heard it's like it's like mentally tough and it's really boring. I thought it was cool like getting in a yacht and being in the middle of the ocean, but after 1 or 2 days, it's literally like sitting in your room and like freaking just being the same. You're seeing the same shit. Exactly.
You're seeing the same stuff everywhere, and it's like if something goes wrong, I don't know, bro. Like I'm way too scared about the ocean to like want to go and explore it properly, like on a boat or whatever. But yeah, as to going back to the hollow earth theory, what are your thoughts? Do you think that like Godzilla versus King Kong, there's some monsters living in there somewhere?
Dude, I feel like all those stories have to like have happened. So I have this theory on how like Moses splitting the sea, Jesus dying on a cross, stories of like Achilles being the world's strongest warrior. Like these are all based on like real things because it's told over so many different cultures that it has to be like it has to have something. Yes, it's probably exaggerated. Yes, like no, Moses didn't actually split the sea. Noah's Ark. That's something that's been retold everywhere. And you must have think, did we go through a time where like freaking everything just got flooded and some guy built a massive boat and put in animals? But you see this shit everywhere and you have to question. And then I was told that Achilles the warrior, that's like a real story of this Roman warrior that went to war, wasn't defeated, had to make a decision. This was in the movie. It was like in Troy with Brad Pitt, where it was like he talked to his mum. He was like, "Hey, mum, should I go to war and basically die but be remembered for the rest of time, or should I just stay at home, not die, spend time with my family, and live the rest of my life in peace, but I won't be remembered?"
So he just went out for it. He went out and stuck his ankle out.
Yeah, but that's another thing. The question I asked after is, what would you do, Krishn? Would you want to just live a normal life if you could, or would you want to sacrifice yourself but have eternal youth? Basically, you'll be remembered for time. But before we move on to that topic, it's crazy. Like, I thought Achilles' heel was like a Roman Greek mythology, but it's like based on real shit. And like in like freaking 1,000 years time, Achilles' heel is just going to be like a mythical story. It's no longer going to be real. In 1,000 years, people like Albert Einstein or Tesla, the original Tesla, what's his name? Like people like him is just going to be like a myth in 1,000 years. Or King Kong versus Godzilla. Like I swear that something similar must have happened.
Like the thing with Achilles is that it is based on Greek mythology, so it is quite like old. The whole
it's
story
engraved on like real buildings and stuff.
Of course, yeah, you see it engraved everywhere. It's like when you go into this, you're thinking, okay, so this is Greek mythology. Then there's Greek mythology. There's another one. There's so many.
Egyptians. Oh my god.
So Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology. Then Indians, we also have our own like mythology and like stories that we pass down through generations, and like
Chinese,
you're saying with this, Chinese is
terracotta warriors.
Yeah, exactly. So like in India, obviously there's like heaps of temples and heaps of places which are so old, and like it's like not saying proof, but like it's like, okay, something happened here, you know what I mean? Like you can just tell that something happened in the sense that like it correlates with all the stories and everything, and it's like, okay, this is very interesting. And it's the same with terracotta warriors, like all this aid, like terracotta warriors is actually like an army or whatever, right? He I don't know.
He just paid for a bunch of people to build them, yeah.
Yeah, he just built it. Each one has a different facial expression, apparently. God knows what, right? But sidetrack. Have you seen the movie The Mummy Awakens or something, where like the terracotta warriors come to life?
Yeah,
it's an old. Oh, you watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it. It's like quality movie.
It's a bit funny when like they turn into life and he's like, it's like okay.
You know that head movement you did? That's exactly the same scene that I remember when they come back to life. You're like, the neck, all right. But yeah, there's always these things around. I don't know about Godzilla vs King Kong. Like that's huge, right? Like that's definitely Is it actually mythology, or is it just someone making up a story?
Yeah, that might be a story. I don't think that was actually like. I think maybe like back in the freaking. I don't know. Like I feel like there must have been a time where there were smart animals, where humans weren't the only smart creatures. But then again, this is what we've gotten stuck into the conspiracy theory circle.
Okay, Godzilla was 100% fiction.
Okay, cool.
It's 100% fictional, and it just came up on film in Japan, right? So that's definitely fiction. But yeah, you're 100% right. Like it's like I don't think there was anything living in the center of the earth, because I think the center of the earth is just pure like just heat.
Yeah.
Just I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a civilization living there. I don't. Yeah, I think you're right. There's no like freaking hidden crust where there's a whole civilization living there.
It's impossible. Outside the world, definitely 100%. If you think there's no life outside of Earth, you are a deluded little prick. No, I'm joking. But
if there was technology or if they were smart, we would get some weird signals and stuff. We'll get some weird radiation or wave signals from under the ground. So I think we're Gucci.
yeah, they probably look at us anyway and think we're hella stupid either way. But going back to your original question, would I live and create a legacy for myself, or would I stay at home and have a comfortable, peaceful life?
Or would you die and have it like you would die early if you go the legacy route?
Yeah, it depends, like, in the context of it, because in the context of that time, if you die in war, you're a war hero, whereas now it's like, you know, war is not as big of a thing. And in terms of in the context of the mythology, it was like, you know, all the people grew up and wanted to fight in the war, or like just whatever, right? Just basic bullshit. But like, I don't know what sort of action could get anyone that sort of legacy. Okay, I'm thinking way too much into it, and I gotta like think of the base of the question. But let me
give you a scenario. If you were given the opportunity to become a financial, like the US's treasury, like become a treasury of like the world. Let's say the world combined it and they needed a treasurer, someone who's like a financial expert. And then you had an opportunity to do that, but like from now till that opportunity, you have to really grind and just basically give up your life for the next 10 years and just like study and grind it out. And then the opportunity is going to come, you're going to take it. It's going to be another 20-year grind. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but you're going to restructure the whole world. The financial, everything's going to be stable. The world's going to be flourishing. There's going to be enough food for everyone. Everyone's rich. You just basically change the world, but you just die at the age of 60 because it's just, you know, it's a grind. Or just live life like continuing the way you're going now.
I'd probably live life the way I'm continuing going right now, only because I personally don't see a benefit in working an unbelievable amount of hours a week without anything to like take a step off the brakes, take your foot off the accelerator and just like kick back a little bit and just relax. Because those sort of like, even you, like you're doing what you're doing now so you can have the freedom and the spare time to do whatever you want to do. You're still trying to create your own legacy at the same time, but you're doing it because you get the freedom. That doesn't sound like freedom to me at all in any sort of situation. It's interesting because regardless of whatever position, or, you know, if you are, say, fucking treasure of the world, people are still going to be pissed off no matter what decision you make. There's always going to be people that are angry. Like, no matter how equitable you try and make decisions, I don't know, it just won't ever end well. It's interesting.
I think it's like, I thought about it and I realized that I can't think about it. It just doesn't fit in the right scenario right now. Like, I think if I've got an opportunity that says I can leave a legacy for the rest of the world, all right, cool, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But if I don't have an opportunity, then I guess just have to keep living life as is.
And you think about the context as well as to what you do to leave that legacy, you know what I mean? Like in terms of...
Yeah. Oh, actually, what if we were Achilles in his scenario? I think in his scenario, be me, knowing me, I'd just probably be selfish and just live my life. Just have a good 100 years. Don't give a fuck about my ego and trying to live. But then again, being remembered 5,000 years later sounds pretty sick.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like at that time, like war was all that was happening. There wasn't much. You either go to war, you just sit back at home and literally just look at the stars and just eat fruit all day. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing to do back then.
Because if you think about it, living forever and being remembered 5,000 years later, when you're dead, that ego boost doesn't even apply because you're dead. So like,
but it's like, okay, if you had the opportunity to become immortal, what would you do? Because you know how people are like, oh, you have the opportunity to live forever. I wouldn't want to live. You either live forever or you die, or you know you're dying in the next 5 years. What would you do? I'd die in the next 5 years. What would I want to do? What would I want to live forever for? What am I going to do?
Oh man.
Because if you live forever, you're going to be the only person in the world that knows exactly what happened 90, 100 years ago.
It'll be like Captain America. You'll feel lonely.
And if you don't have a recollection of that, what's the point in being the oldest person in the world? Because people just look at you as a source of wisdom and stuff, but say you're not wise, or
What if you live forever, but every day you're just eating 5-star food, you're bitches every day, you're like on E and just like on cool drugs, on shrooms, and every day is just amazing.
That sounds like a great forever life. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I could never want to live forever either. I don't know what I'd do. There'd just be nothing to do.
Yeah, I think 5 years is just too little for me. Like, I think if the question was, would you want to die at the age of 100 or live forever, then I probably would want to die at age 100. Yeah.
Actually, if you could live forever, you'd become such an important asset to, like, say, the world.
Yeah, it'd be like huge weight on your shoulder.
Yeah, you'd be kept under wraps, maybe, I reckon.
Or like I could become like, gain so much power and become like Rick from Rick and Morty, and just like around and just like live life.
Rick's my idol, bro. Rick's my idol. But yeah, 100%. I wouldn't live forever.
All right, let's check the last conspiracy, the Titanic Conspiracy. It is said that Titanic never sunk. It was replaced by its sister ship, the Olympic, previously damaged and repainted to look like the Titanic, to purposely ditch the damaged ship and reap the insurance money. Also, according to the theory, millionaire banker JP Morgan planned the Titanic disaster to kill off rival millionaire Jacob Astor, Isidor Stratus, and Benjamin Guggenheim, who all perished aboard. The theory hinges on the fact that Morgan had originally planned to sail the Titanic, but changed his mind shortly before it took off. Furthermore, JP Morgan is a shareholder of the shipping company that owns Titanic. I think I've seen a similar video like this.
That's juicy. That's a little bit juicy. Because if they own the Titanic... But, I mean, was insurance really that big way back then? When was Titanic?
Damn, yeah, I think I've seen this video before. And I think obviously something sank because people died.
Titanic was 1912. It sank in 1912. Was insurance a thing in 1912?
I think so. I think insurance has been like a life for a long time, like bonds and stuff. But insurance is a whole another topic. That's crazy how there's an industry of it, like called insurance.
Yeah, insurance was invented in 1752, so insurance was definitely a thing back then.
Interesting.
I don't know about this because it definitely happened, but it's like if JP Morgan actually anticipated for it to do like sink just to get the fat cash afterwards as insurance payout. Yeah, it'd be interesting, but I don't know about this one. This one's a bit of a different one.
Yeah.
So they're saying the Olympic was damaged and they knew it was damaged, so they just put the Olympic out there. The Olympic crashed and it just died. And then...
Imagine they're suggesting that the Olympic didn't hit an iceberg. It just sunk because it was damaged.
Yeah, it was damaged.
Oh.
Yeah, that's I think what they're saying. And then they got all the insurance money, and essentially the Titanic was... But where are they going to hide the Titanic? Like, where are you going to hide it? Like, how can you hide a monstrosity that big? It's got to come back to a port, right?
Yeah, that's true. How do you hide a massive ship? Like,
unless it never sailed.
Let's search the Olympic. Maybe the Olympic, they did a swapperoo. The Olympic boat. So the RMS Olympic is an actual boat, but did it survive? Oh, so it's true. It was nearly identical with the Titanic. When did Titanic crash?
1912.
Oh, so it looks like the Olympic survived till like 1930. So maybe they did a switcheroo.
It's interesting because, like, if you do this switcheroo, like, where are you gonna hide? Like, where?
The Titanic would now be the Olympic. Like, they switched places. The damaged Olympic was renamed the Titanic, and the old Titanic was renamed the Olympic.
Okay, yeah. So then, essentially, whatever happened to the Olympic was essentially the Titanic.
Yes. Yeah.
So, like, where is it?
It sunk. Oh yeah, Titanic is pretty cool. You know what's also like It's like, dude, that's another thing. In like 1,000 years, the story of the Titanic might become like this crazy movie myth. People might not even think it's real, but it's crazy. Like if you go underneath the water, you see the actual Titanic ship. That's super cool. But yeah, the Titanic is sunk underneath water.
Yeah, a lot of things nowadays will just turn into like a myth. Like, did it happen? Did it not happen? Because no one would know. Like, only the huge points in history would stand out. Like, I think COVID would stand out, but I can't see anything else in recent history that could differentiate us from, like, say, like 10 years in the future or 10 years in the past. I mean, other than COVID, that's all I can think of. But yeah, man, it's interesting. I don't know about those conspiracy theories. But,
interesting segment. Let us know what your thoughts are on this conspiracy segment. We'll definitely do some more segments in future episodes. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's it. And like these conspiracies I've never heard of either before, so it's like it could go into different angle segments. But yeah, like quality episode. I enjoyed it. Yeah, we'll definitely touch base on it again. But that's episode 38.
Yeah, I think it's 38. Damn.
Nearing 40, nearing 50, nearing 52.
40. It's crazy. It's like a cool portfolio.
Yeah, portfolio, time log and everything. But yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate all the viewers. Even if you don't listen, Logan Paul and Mayweather also fought.
Yes.
And it was such a letdown. I can't believe I wasted my time watching that fight. It was so shambles. But what do you expect? It was a money grab, right? It was like Logan Paul came out in the first round, just swing. Did you watch it?
I haven't yet. I'm about to watch it at dinner right now. I've seen all the Twitters. I've seen how he survived 8 rounds. I've seen how he like really used his weight and survived. Yeah, I think Mayweather really up by not having judges there. If he had judges there, he probably would have won, right?
He would have won easily. 100% he would have won. Because Logan just won like maybe 1 or 2 rounds, and then 6 rounds easily Mayweather was just all over him. Like it was, but there's no point having judges because then it becomes official, and then there's an actual risk of him losing his entire legacy over one stupid exhibition fight. It made no sense. But what a waste of time of the fight. I can't believe I watched it. I watched it like thinking, wow, this is really happening. Like this is insane for this to even like be happening. But
dude, it was so funny. Mayweather 50-0, Logan Paul 0-1. And you're like,
0-1.
Is this real?
It's like, how did this happen? You had Jake Paul piping off during the entire fight as well. He was just making a mockery of himself. He posted on Instagram straight away after, like, oh, Logan won, or Mayweather's record is 50-1. Shut up, bro. Shut up. You're such a fool. Honestly, such a turd. But what a waste of time. Wasted my time.
It's pretty smart how, like, for a second I thought Logan won because I was not watching it. And I saw this, I was like, what? Did Logan win? It's like they've somehow, like, positioned themselves as the winner because Logan survived 8 rounds and did knock out, therefore he's the winner. It's crazy how they subtly position things, and all of a sudden people now think Logan won, and it's just crazy. Yeah,
people are forgetting that Mayweather's like 45 years old. Like, he's an old Donny. He is a grandpa walking around and being able to do that. Like, I don't know, for the people to go crazy over it, like, to go the distance is insane, like 100%, but he's a 44-year-old man. Like, come on, like, but he's still insane. Like, he's obviously a god in boxing, but I don't know, 44-year-old man. Like, it's so easy for one shot to go wrong, but it didn't. He lasted the distance. Fair play, you know, fair play. Like,
20 million. Logan Paul apparently made 20 million in that 20 minutes.
And Mayweather made 100.
That's so much money. 20 million. Like, wow.
That's such a smart move.
So apparently Logan Paul invests maybe 10% of his net worth into crypto, and he has roughly around, I don't know if it was a TikTok, apparently he has like $3-4 million in crypto. So therefore still owes 40 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, he's around like the 40, 50, 60 million mark, which is, I think it sounds cool and all. It doesn't sound too much because we see the billions. But when we put ourselves into the picture, we're like, that's 40 times 1 million. Like, whoa, shit.
It's crazy because it's like, they're only going to keep growing a little bit bigger anyway.
Exponential, yeah.
Yeah, exponential growth. So it's like, I wonder what happens is in like the next few months, years. Is like, what do you do? Like, do you keep boxing? Do you keep doing the podcast? Do you keep making YouTube videos, which I don't think he's made for a while, other than the podcast? You know what I mean? So it's like, watch out to see who's there. But we're going to wrap this up here before we keep going on, because we easily can. I'll let you sign off. Episode 38.
Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. This was definitely a different episode. If you guys stuck through, this is a longer episode. We really appreciate your support. If you're here, thank you. I really appreciate you for listening. You guys are definitely the OG. By the time we hit 1,000 episode, we definitely remember that you guys found us before everyone else. So thank you so much for the early support. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys keep following us. Please send us a message with any feedback. I still haven't had any message about the podcast, so you guys are low-key listeners that are just listening. And I just want to say thank you so much for your support. Peace, guys.